Good afternoon. Thank you so much once again for joining me for the pharmacology class. Today I'll be dealing with miscellaneous cytotoxic drugs. Miscellaneous cytotoxic drugs is one more group which comes under the cytotoxic drugs. Under miscellaneous cytotoxic drugs, we have hydroxyurea, we have procarbazine, L-asparagine, cisplatin, carboplatin, and imatinib. I repeat, we have hydroxyurea, procarbazine, L-asparagine, cisplatin, carboplatin, and imatinib. Excluding this L-asparagine, these drugs, the remaining drugs, they have been prepared under random synthesis and they are being tested tested, and they have found that these drugs also play an important role in anti-tumor activity, in fighting the anti-tumor cells. So as a result, we have classified them as miscellaneous drugs. But we need to remember that except for L-asparagine, the remaining drugs, they have been prepared using the random synthesis and they have proved out their anti-tumor activity. So let's start off with the first drug, hydroxyurea. So the first drug that I'll be dealing with is hydroxyurea. What does this hydroxyurea do? Hydroxyurea will be inhibits the conversion of riboxynucleotide to deoxyribonucleotide. Conversion of riboxynucleotide to deoxyribonucleotide, and it will be inhibiting mainly the enzyme ribonucleoside diphosphate reductase. Ribonucleoside diphosphate reductase. This particular enzyme will be inhibited. So as a result, DNA synthesis will not be taking place, or the DNA synthesis will be interfered. So the phase in your cell division, the S phase is the phase where the DNA synthesis will be taking place. But here, since the DNA synthesis is getting interfered, it shows that the S phase, the maximum function or the maximum activity by this particular drug will be seen. Primary therapeutic value can be noticed in case of CML. CML is known as chronic myeloid leukemia. Chronic myeloid leukemia, psoriasis, polycythemia vera, and in some solid tumors. And major toxicity that you can find over here is myelosuppression. Myelosuppression is the toxicity that you can find in this particular matter. Dose you have to administer 20 to 30 milligrams per kg daily or 80 mg per kg twice weekly. So this is the dosage for this particular drug. So hydroxyurea, what it does is it will be blocking the conversion of ribonucleotide to deoxyribonucleotide by inhibiting the enzyme ribonucleoside diphosphate reductase, and as a result DNA synthesis will be interfered. So we can say in short that its action is specifically targeted at the S phase of the cell division, and the therapeutic effect can be noticed in case of chronic myeloid leukemia, psoriasis, polycythemia vera, as well as in some solid tumors. The toxicity that you can find very commonly in this particular drugs is myelosuppression. Dose, we can go for administering 20 to 30 mg per kg daily, or we can go for another dose 80 mg per kg twice weekly. So it can be done depending upon the patient's condition. Next drug, procarbazine. So usually this procarbazine is inactive. It's an inactive form of the drug. So once it enters into the body, it undergoes metabolic activation, and as a result, this procarbazine, after the metabolic activation, it undergoes depolymerization of DNA. It causes depolymerization of DNA, and when there is a depolymerization of DNA, chromosomal damage can occur. When DNA polymerization gets affected, it will be having an impact upon the chromosome effect also. So the chromosomal damage or the arrangement of the chromosomes will also get damaged. And here the nucleic acid synthesis will be inhibited, and due to this damage of the DNA, you can find that it produces a mutagenic as well as a carcinogenic action. And this is very useful in case of Hodgkin's disease as well as in non-Hodgkin's lymphomas and Oat cell carcinoma of lung. Oat cell carcinoma of lung is a very it's a very progressive, and mainly you can find it in case of smokers. Okay, so Oat cell carcinoma of lung, it spreads out very fast. It spreads very fast. And another feature about procarbazine is it is a weak monoamine oxidase inhibitor. It is abbreviated as MAOI. In some books you can find it as MAO inhibitors. In some areas you can notice it as MAOI. Okay, so it is monoamine oxidase inhibitors, and as a result it will be producing CNS effects, and it will be interacting with the food as well as the drugs. So when a patient is on MAOI or monoamine oxidase inhibitors, there are certain areas we have to be careful related to the drugs as well as related to the food. Okay, so there are certain food your patient cannot go for taking. There are certain drugs, like for example, if the patient takes a disulfiram, it's going to cause a very severe effect when it gets combined or when it comes in contact with this particular procarbazine. Or even if the patient just ingests a small amount of alcohol, that will start causing hot flushing, and even disulfiram like effects can be noticed in patient. Okay, so we have to be very careful when we are administering certain drugs, because if it combines with this procarbazine, very drastic form of adverse effects can be noticed. Other toxicities or other things that you have to check out like toxicities are vomiting, leukopenia, thrombocytopenia, and dermatitis. These are the prominent type of toxicities. Vomiting, leukopenia, thrombocytopenia, and dermatitis. These are the prominent toxicities we can notice. The dose that we can go for administering is 100 to 300 mg oral daily, and as a maintenance dose we can go for administering 1 to 2 mg per kg per day. 1 to 2 mg per kg per day as a maintenance dose. So this is about procarbazine. So procarbazine, I want you to remember that usually it is inactive form. Once it is taken or once it is entering into the body, it undergoes a metabolic activation, and as a result of it, it depolymerizes the DNA. Due to this DNA depolymerization, chromosomal damage occurs. The nucleic acid synthesis gets affected, and due to this damage of DNA, it turns out its action as mutagenic as well as carcinogenic, and it can be used, or you can find a very good result when it comes to Hodgkin's disease, as well as you can find a very good result even in case of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, as well as in case of Oat cell carcinoma of lungs. And we need to understand that it is a very weak MAOI, monoamine oxidase inhibitor. and due to that certain CNS effects can be triggered, or you can find that there are some effects which will be resulting from the CNS effects. And when the patient is on MAOI inhibitors or MAO inhibitors, we need to ensure that there won't be any food as well as drug interactions. Moving over to the interactions with procarbazine, ensure that patient doesn't ingest alcohol or they don't take alcohol. If they go for taking alcohol, it's going to cause hot flushing and patient will exhibit disulfiram-like effects. So we need to be extra careful in it. The other prominent toxicities we can find is vomiting, leukopenia, thrombocytopenia, and dermatitis. Dose, we can go for administering 100 to 300 mg per orally daily, and as a maintenance 1 to 2 mg per kg per day. L-asparagine, the third drug, L-asparagine. Now this particular drug was introduced when they noticed there was a qualitative difference between the normal cell when compared to the leukemic cells. Okay, normal cells from leukemic cells, when there was a vast difference in it. Because of that, it triggered, or it just struck the scientists to create this particular drug and try it out on the patient. Now what it does is, or the difference what they found was, the leukemic cells are deficient in L-asparagine synthase. The leukemic cells are deficient in L-asparagine synthase, and they have to depend, because of that, they have to depend on a medium to get a supply of L-asparaginase. So when this enzyme L-asparaginase from E. coli, once it is entering, it will degrade this L-asparagine to L-aspartic acid. L-asparagine to L-aspartic acid, and when this reaction takes place, it is depriving the cells of an essential metabolite. It makes the cell to lack this metabolite, and when this metabolite is not there, it causes the cell to die. Okay, it causes the cells to die. So as a result, cell death occurs. And if you check out the clinical response of this particular drug, it's very, very disappointing. It's not so good, or it's not a pleasing type of response that we have when it comes to the clinical response. However, when remission is induced in case of acute leukemia, this particular drug can be used, but its effect is short lasting. It is not long lasting, it is short lasting. And it is now used when other drugs have failed to induce remission. In such areas, this particular drug turns out to be a very useful area. And another limiting aspect of this is it is very ineffective in case of solid tumors. Cannot use it on solid tumors. Now, atypical, or the adverse effects which you can find atypically with this particular drug, like the common ones that we find with the anti-cancer drugs, those kind of adverse effects we cannot notice here. Okay, for example, name it like alopecia or leukopenia. Those kind of adverse effects, we don't find it here. However, it produces liver damage, pancreatitis, and CNS symptoms. CNS symptoms mainly when a defective protein synthesis occurs. Due to that, the CNS effects can be noticed. And since it is considered as a foreign protein, there are chances that patient may develop allergic reactions also. And we need to ensure that patient does not exhibit anaphylaxis. Anaphylaxis is a life-threatening problem you have to check out for in your patient. If we lack the conscience, or if we lack the knowledge of identifying the signs and symptoms of anaphylaxis, surely we are going to lose the patient. because it turns out to be a fatal or life-threatening problem. So ensure that since it is a foreign particle, we have to remember that it can cause allergy in the patients, and as a result we need to check out for anaphylaxis also. Dose, we go for administering 50 to 200 Ku per kg intravenously daily for 2 to 4 weeks. Next drug, cisplatin. Cisplatin. So from the word platin, we can easily identify there is a platinum coordination complex, which is present in this. It undergoes hydrolysis intracellularly, and because of that a high moiety, reactive moiety will be produced, and that causes cross-linking. Okay, so cross-linking will be produced in the DNA, and because of that, okay, we can find that it will be exhibiting a radiomimetic property. And if you see the mechanism of action, it goes and gets attached itself to the plasma proteins. After attaching itself to the plasma proteins, it enters the tissues and it is slowly excreted unchanged in urine. Slowly excreted unchanged in urine with a half-life of 72 hours. Half-life means how long the drug is going to remain inside the body. Okay, so with a half-life about 72 hours, and negligible amount enters the brain. Negligible amount enters the brain. It's very effective, or the uses we can see it's very effective in case of metastatic testicular and ovarian carcinoma, as well as in certain solid tumors also. It is administered very slowly via infusion. The infusion will be done 50 to 100 mg per meter square body surface area every 3 to 4 weeks. Every 3 to 4 weeks. And cisplatin, we should remember that it possesses a property of emetogenesis. So emetic property. So as a result of that, we have to remember to administer antiemetics just before administering this particular drug. Okay, so we have to infuse antiemetics before we give this particular drug because it is highly emetic. All right, and if you see the toxicity, it is renal toxicity, and that renal toxicity depends upon it is totally dependent on the dose. And how we can prevent this renal toxicity is by maintaining a good hydration status. So you have to ensure that the patient's hydration status is very good. Apart from that, you can find tinnitus. Tinnitus is simply, if I say in simple terms, ringing sounds that you can hear in the ears. Okay, ringing in the ears. So tinnitus, deafness, neuropathy, and hyperuricemia can also be noticed. Sometimes, since we administer this drug in intravenous infusion, shock-like symptoms also can start. So we need to be very careful, and you have to monitor the patient. So this is about cisplatin. So cisplatin, it will be containing a platinum coordination complex, and it undergoes hydrolysis intracellularly, and it produces a high moiety, reactive moiety that will cause cross-linking in the DNA. And it also possesses a radiomimetic property, gets bound to the plasma proteins, enters the tissues, and it is slowly excreted unchanged in urine with a half-life about 72 hours. Negligible amounts enters into the brain. It's very effective in case of metastatic testicular as well as ovarian carcinoma, as well as in certain solid tumors also. And we should also remember that they possess emetic property, so we have to administer antiemetics before we go for infusing this particular drug. The toxicity which we can notice, and that too it is dose dependent, is renal toxicity. If we ensure that patient maintains a good hydration status, this particular toxicity can also be reduced. Apart from that, tinnitus, deafness, neuropathy, as well as hyperuricemia are the other problems. Sometimes it can also induce shock-like state in the patients due to the intravenous infusions too. So a careful monitoring of the patient is a must in this matter. The next drug, carboplatin. Carboplatin. So it is a less reactive second generation platinum compound. Less reactive second generation platinum compound, and it is better tolerated. Better tolerated, and if you check out its toxicity, is completely different when it comes to cisplatin. Milder kind of side effects you can notice is nausea and vomiting, but it is delayed. It's not an immediate one, it is delayed, and it will only infrequently limits the dose. The dose limiting toxicity here you can notice is thrombocytopenia. Thrombocytopenia, and often, very less often, you can find leukopenia. And since it has or it possesses a less plasma protein binding, it is rapidly eliminated in or via kidney with a half-life of 4 to 6 hours. Okay, so if it gets bound to the plasma protein, it has to go for entering, it has to produce. But here it does not get bound to the plasma protein, hence the elimination time is very, very less when compared to the cisplatin. Okay, so it is rapidly eliminated by the kidney and half-life is 4 to 6 hours. Indications for its use is ovarian cancer, which is of epithelial origin, and a very good changes or a very good recovery you can find if the patient is being diagnosed with squamous carcinoma of head and neck, small cell lung cancer, and seminoma. Next drug. I'm sorry. Moving over to the next drug, imatinib. Imatinib, this is the last drug under the miscellaneous drugs, which comes under cytotoxic drugs. Imatinib. So this anti-neoplastic drug, it will be inhibiting tyrosine protein kinase. Tyrosine protein kinase in chronic myeloid leukemia, as well as the ones which are activated by platelet-derived growth factor, platelet-derived growth factor receptor, stem cell receptor, and c-KIT receptor, which you can find in case of gastrointestinal stromal tumor. So in these particular type of cancers, or in these particular cases, this particular tyrosine protein kinase enzyme will be inhibited. So when this particular enzyme has been inhibited, it has shown a very good progress of recovery in case of chronic myeloid leukemia. Adverse effects are fluid retention, edema, vomiting, abdominal pain, myalgia, and liver damage. Fluid retention, edema, vomiting, abdominal pain, myalgia, and liver damage. The dose administered 400 mg per day with meal. So you should encourage them to take as soon as when they are taking the food, not after the food. Okay, when they are eating, ask the patient to take this particular drug. The accelerated phase, in case of accelerated phase of chronic myeloid leukemia, we need to administer 600 to 800 mg per day. I hope you have understood the class on miscellaneous drugs used in anti-cancer drugs. See you next time, and I will be taking the class on hormones, which are playing an important role in anti-cancer drugs. Thank you.